Assalamu alaikum. Our today's topic is representation. We'll discuss in detail. Let's start. Representation, institutions, and leadership are important aspects of politics. Here are brief explanations of two topics you have mentioned. One is representation is the idea that elected officials should represent the interests and views of their constituents in democratic systems. Representatives are chosen by people through free and fair elections. There are various forms of representation, including geographic representation, where representatives are elected to represent a specific geographic area, and proportional representation, where representatives are elected based on the proportion of votes their political party receives. Institutions and leadership. First one is legislature. The legislature is a branch of government that is responsible for making laws in most democratic systems. The legislature is made up of elected representatives who are responsible for representing the views and interests of their constituents. Executive. The executive is the branch of government responsible for implementing and enforcing laws. The executive branch is usually led by a president, prime minister, and other executive leaders who is responsible for making executive decisions and overseeing government operations. Third one is judiciary. The judiciary is responsible for interpreting the law and ensuring that it is applied fairly and impartially. The judiciary is typically made up of judges who are appointed or elected to serve on the bench. Then second is competing elites, political, military, bureaucratic. Competing elites refer to different groups or factions within society that compete for power and influence. In many countries, there are several competing elites, including political elites, military elites, and bureaucratic elites. Political elites are individuals who are involved in the political process and hold positions of power, such as elected officials or party leaders. Military elites are members of the armed forces who hold positions of authority within the military. Bureaucratic elites are the individuals who hold positions of power within government bureaucracies and are responsible for implementing government policies and programs. These different elites often have different interests and goals, and their competition can have a significant impact on political decision making and policy outcomes. Seven forms of government: monarchy, democracy, dictatorship, unitary, federation, confederation, parliamentary, presidential, authoritarian. We will discuss in detail. Now, forms of government refer to the different systems of the governance that exist in the world. Here are brief explanations of the seven forms of government you have mentioned. One is monarchy. A monarchy is a form of government in which a single individual, usually a king or queen, holds ultimate power and authority. Like Saudi Arabia, the monarch typically inherits their position through a royal family lineage and holds the position for life. Second is democracy. A democracy is a form of government in which power is held by the people, either directly or through elected representatives. In a democracy, individuals have the right to participate in decision making through free and fair elections, and the government is accountable to the people. Third one is dictatorship. Dictatorship is a form of government in which an individual or group of individuals hold absolute power and authority. In a dictatorship, the people have little or no say in government decision making, and opposition is often suppressed. Fourth one is unitary. Unitary as unitary system of government is one in which power is held by a central government. Local governments have limited power. In a unitary system, the central government can make decisions that affect the entire country. Fifth one is federation. A federation is a system of government in which power is divided between a central government and several smaller regional governments like Pakistan. In a federation, both levels of government have their own areas of responsibility and decision making powers. After the 18th Amendment, Pakistan is become a federation. So, confederation 6.1. A confederation is a system of government in which several states or regions come together to form a close alliance. In a confederation, each member state retains a significant degree of independence and autonomy. Parliamentary. A parliamentary system of government is one in which the executive branch is accountable to the legislative branch. Pakistan is also a good example. In a parliamentary system, the head of the government is usually a prime minister and who is selected by the legislature. Eighth one is the presidential. A presidential system of government is one in which the executive branch is separate from the legislative branch. In a presidential system, the head of government is usually a president who is directly elected by the people. For example, you can see the Chinese government is a presidential government, Turkish government, United States government, and Russian government. Even Iranian government is also a presidential form of government. Then ninth one is authoritarian. An authoritarian system of government is one in which power is held by a single individual or group, like Saudi Arabia and Syria. And in past, Libya was also authoritarian setup, and opposition is often suppressed in an authoritarian system. There are often limited civil liberties and individual freedoms. थैंक यू सो मच, मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट पेपर 2 में. एक पेपर हमने कंप्लीट कर लिया, पॉलिटिकल साइंस का पेपर 1 फॉर PMS.